do you assign the IP address and make
Well,
it
that
more
would be
fixed?
the job of the the network administrator or the technician, because any large company must have a network technician, and that's why they have to usually read the manual. But it's always good to set a fixed IP address, whether you do it like manual, all of them, or whether you use some kind of script to change them. I mean, I haven't used any kind of script to change IP addresses in this case, but to set the IP address for the camera, we saw two examples here. One of them is to use the software that comes with the camera, search it, and then set up the camera to change the IP address and also the ports, whatever you need. The other one is to link the camera to Internet Explorer and then set the IP address. So every network device will come on IP address, but we will see later on if your network is different from the IP address scheme of that camera, you will have to adjust it to your network. I'm not sure if I answered this question well, but we will see some more examples on the next page. Network subnets, which is just a network address, limits. Two network devices can only talk directly when in the same network address. So I have IP camera that came with 192.168.0.2 IP address, but my router and my network has address of 192.168.1.something. If I put that camera on the network, I will not be able to see it unless I search it with the proprietary software that came with the camera. So we see here common private IP address, like 192.168.0.2 can talk to 192.168.0.3. Notice that the difference is only the last number, because that's the network address. And 192.168.1.2 can talk to 192.168.1.3. So this cannot directly talk to this one, because they're on two different networks. This IP address can talk to that IP address, but not to this one or to that one. I mean, unless we set up some kind of advanced routing. So here, the network, my router address here is 192.168.0.1. So that's why we have to adjust the IP address of the camera to match on our network, either by using the software that comes with it, or using Internet Explorer. Public IP address and Internet IP address, we usually don't have much control on them because they need subscription.
Question?
Back on that. And he said before, if there's 1,000 cameras, what is the next dot after that? Do you have 999 and then is there another dot and that is still in that network also?
Yeah, like those are used for small networks. Like so, 192.168.1.1 is your router,
right? Because
that 0 at the end is the network, is the whole network. So you can have up to 192.168.1.254,
right?
Because 255 is the broadcast,
right?
So you have how many devices? Like almost 240 something.
So if you do have like more than that, if you have 600, then it's
more routers.
Oh, okay.
I think it would be better that you use like if it's say like 1,000 something.
Yeah.
I think it will be better to use like class A network, like 10 dot something something,
Right.
because that will give you so many devices. Port forwarding. So ports are usually logical doors to service running on computers or cameras or whatever. And a router usually has 2 ports, but it can forward requests to other internal systems, whether it's GeoVision, UO, or other computers. But the router needs to know what to forward and to where. So here, we see some of the common ports. With the IP cameras, you can change the port. And this is the audio port. You can change the port, but you have to also tell your router what port and what device is using that port. The IP address, usually the router will know the IP address. Some new routers, they just have a drop-down arrow, so you select the IP address. So here we're forwarding 5 ports. Notice all the ports are different because not two devices can have the same port through your router because the router will not know where to forward that information to. These are the different IP addresses. See, this is the network address and that's the host address. So you can usually change these according to your devices. Troubleshooting, we always have to check the physical connection, the power, the network cable. We have to make sure that the computer or the network and the IP camera are in the same network address. Try to ping, we saw the ping command. Also check firmware updates, power cycle or reboot. Windows comes with a firewall. Sometimes that can be issue or expired settings. And try to access cameras or EVRs on different computers or programs. Sometimes the client computer can have problems. Unless we can fix those problems, we have to try to fix the machine. Getting help,